Hi and welcome to What's Not to Like, and today we're looking at The Networks by Gil Hova. And Nick Case wanted to know what the game was about, so a very brief word to say it's about programming of TV programmes. A schedule of 3 programmes made through the evening of between 8, 9 and 10 o'clock, and the aim of the game is to get as many viewers as you can through the course of 5 rounds of play. And we spoke about this game and said how much we really enjoyed the way it's been put together as a really tight design. I think it's a real pleasure to play because it's obviously so well thought out in so many different areas. Very simple things like when you are putting your programs together, you slide them under here, or you place them at the side of your time slot, and then if you put a star with a program, that slides in at the end there. If you get an advertisement with your program, it comes in there. So you can see at the end the viewing figures are here, and here you've got the costs to run those programs and stars, and here's the money you're receiving from an advertisement. And it's little things like that makes you really appreciate the effort that's gone into making this work really smoothly, and as Jason said, fit together like a jigsaw. So a really super design. As well as that, I think it delivers the theme really well, and one reason for that is that it's got some super artwork on the cards and some humorous titles for the different programs, which I think work really, really well. I think we can associate with the idea of shows having really high viewing ratings, and also that they might improve their ratings as the seasons go on, and then as the seasons go on even further, that the number of viewers will drop off, at which point you take them out and they go into the reruns box and eventually into the archive. So I like that very much, the idea that something is really good to start with and then might improve and then gradually drops off, and you've got to time that. We played a game called Basket Boss quite a few years ago now. It's a really nice game. It's got a very similar system, works really, really well. I think another thing I like about this game is that it feels very fair. And yet it's got 1 or 2 elements that give you a little bit of asymmetry in the game. For example, at the start of the game, there are, in the 4-player game that we've played, there are 7 shows out here. Now, 7 divided by 4, it doesn't work out as an equal spread, obviously. So one person is going to be down on the number of shows they have. That immediately introduces a kind of asymmetry into the game that gives the game some character, but it deals with that very, very fairly, because the person who's in last place at each round of play after each season will go first in the next season of the game, and that's a really good advantage. So it gives some real character to the game. That it's not a game that's kind of all the same and everybody's just doing the same thing. You really are working in different angles against each other. I think that gives the game a lot of character, and I really like that. And another thing that's really good in this game is that it's one action at a time. So you can, I've got the list here, you can develop a show, or you can sign a star, land an ad, take a network card, attach a star, or drop out at the end of the round. So it's a pretty quick decision. So the game is going around really, really quite quickly, and yet that decision, each time you make it, feels really critical. And what you do affects what other people do, so you can pre-plan it, but you are reacting as well to the people. So it's got that sort of interaction by default, really, by the fact that you can't just play it solitaire, because what other people are doing is so directly affecting what you're doing, affecting your next choices. I think it's very, very strong. It's a good game. If you've any chance you get to play this, have a go. It looks quite light, but it plays very strong. So my afterthoughts on this game, I've actually played it twice now, and I'm going to play it one more time this week. I was wondering, where it stands in the pantheon of games. Is it a really good game? Is it a classic game? Is it a really great game? And the criteria for that is something I'm sort of toying with, trying to work out what that might encapsulate. And I think one thing that I've come to realise with games that really, really are standout is that you can recall games that you've played in the past, and that you can remember certain games working in certain ways. Some really that you played in a certain direction, other games where somebody did something quite unusual, or a couple of people did something unusual, and the game moved in another direction. So I think for me a really great game is one where you can't foresee the pattern of the game too well, and where afterwards you'll recall something, some element of the storyline that really makes it stand out in your mind. I don't think this game quite falls into that category. It tries to with its wonderful program names, but to be honest, when you're playing the game, because you're involved in the mechanics so much, you quickly switch off to thinking about the different shows you've got, or the names of the stars you've got, or the type of advertisements you're taking. It becomes a checking out of the numbers, and you've just got to concentrate on that. So it's hard for the game to have a real individual character from game to game, I suggest. Doesn't mean I can't enjoy it. And it's certainly a game I'd be happy to play again anytime soon. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.